Welcome everybody. Like John said, we're thrilled to have so many people turn out. I can promise you this will be a very engaging discussion, and you'll all get an opportunity to ask as many questions as you want at the end of the discussion. I certainly don't have to convince this group. So needless to say, I suspect there'll be some very engaging conversations. And he's not shy at all. So what we're going to do is we'll start with Beth, go to Steve, Allie, and then Lauren. Then we'll give our panelists a chance if perhaps they have something to refute that Lauren may have said.
I am pleased to sort of take the day off and come to a group of lots of familiar and hopefully friendly faces, very friendly faces. So let me give you a little bit of background. I'm here as representing ERCOT. I want to remind everybody the sort of our four key directives. It's non-discriminatory access to the transmission system, it's reliability and adequacy of the system, timely information about customer choice to the retail providers, and accurate accounting. Okay, all of those areas have been touched significantly already this year. And what a year it has been so far. I mean, you're halfway through it. As Marcy just highlighted, high wholesale prices, we've had competitive retailer failures. I wanted to point out just a couple of glimmers, if you will, in a picture of maybe gloom and doom on the competitive retailer side, and then finish up with what we are doing now at ERCOT, what we've done here just in the very recent past, and the activities we've got ongoing, which may tend to moderate prices going forward. So that's my plan for what I want to introduce. And if we could just kind of click through these pretty quickly, if you're interested, you guys, everybody in this room probably knows better than I the details on clearing prices over this year versus last, gas prices that are supporting that. I'm not going to take time to show you the graphs. Okay, excellent. Great, because I really did go through a lot of work to pull that stuff together, No. Somebody went through a lot of work to pull that together. The gas prices are up significantly. Again, I don't have to tell this room we're up at levels consistent with post-hurricane, shut-in activity a year and a half ago. That's where we were at the end of May. June has continued. You guys are all on top of that more than I at this point. I would love to get perspective on what anybody's crystal ball is telling them about that going forward. We also had high temperatures early. We had a hot early summer. We got caught, and what does that tend to do operationally? Tends to find us in a situation where we are wrapping up maintenance outages, we're wrapping up construction clearances for new transmission, trying to get those ready for the summer. We find ourselves in a situation where the system isn't quite all put back together again at the time when we're hitting high loads. Those are the times that we are hit with high congestion costs, and you get price differentials between the zones. I think that afflicted us early on in the summer, and then just continued on with the hot weather. The key thing that we've been focused in on then is the significant congestion that we have seen between our north and south zones. And the contributors to that, if you will, were a lot of forced outages of key resources and facilities, transmission elements, on top of already approved planned outages. We just ended up with the system in not a good situation, and trying to go to extraordinary measures to resolve that congestion, leading to high price differentials between those zones. This zone, this direction, this north to south congestion that we've been dealing with persistently this year is new this year from a zonal perspective. It's new from seeing a price difference due to it. It is not new. We dealt with it persistently all last year. It just was not manifested as a zonal constraint. It was all resolved under our construct of local congestion management. Those costs are when we move generators to resolve those local constraint, they are paid basically a cost-based price, and those costs are uplifted to everyone. It's a very different construct than a bid-based service that then gets assigned to the folks transacting across that zone. So I guess I want to emphasize the congestion in the area, in this whole Temple-Killeen south to north interface area, is not new. And in fact, last year we spent $24 million to resolve congestion in that area. And under our market construct, that was the key driver, with no real discussion, criticism or concern from a market participant perspective, as we proposed a new CSC, a new directional CSC along that interface. We went through the process last year. It seemed to be well recognized that a zone constraint was the way to go. I'll let anybody else that wants to beg to differ with my perception of the process. Again, want to leave with the point, it's not new congestion, it's new in the way that we are pricing it and managing it. That's what's seeing those high zonal prices. Let me switch over, and I'm gonna talk for like 2 nanoseconds on retail, because any of you that have known me for years know that I stayed the line. I don't know a whole lot about retail. I pay my bill levelized on a direct deposit. So I'm not a real retail person, but I did summarize the failures that we've had to date. And I just wanted to point out, and I'm going to point out 2 things on this. We had 44,000 customers that were dropped to Polar over the last couple of months. I wanted to ERCOT's horn, and ERCOT and the TSPs and that whole retail transaction system has been improved to the point where those transactions were able to occur, 99% of them within 2 days. That's not 2 business days, it was 2 days that we were able to move those customers off of their defaulted or going out of business retail provider and get them onto Polar. And efforts, and that then can start the process for moving them on to their next choice of retailer. That I compare and contrast that to, again, there are folks in this room that would know that better, compare and contrast that to the 30 days I think it took in some of the early days in the market when we had some competitive retail failures. It was as ERCOT, we were not prepared to deal with that, and now we are. I also wanted to point out in terms of volume, yes, if you were one of those 44,000 customers, it was a pain in the ass. I can't get through the presentation without saying some kind of bad word. If you were one of those 44,000 customers, yes, it was disruptive, it was difficult, it was a problem. But if we'll go to the next slide, I want to put that in just in context of how many retail customers are we talking about here. And I apologize, I didn't mash this slide very much, but the bottom bar shows that we've got 5.5 million residential customers that are eligible for competitive retail service. And 43% of those, so something over 2 million customers, have chosen to switch. So 44,000 out of 2.4 million customers, I think if I do my math right, that's like 2% of the customers that have actively chosen to switch were affected by these 5 failures. I have no visibility into the information. I just asked the question of what, on the converse side, what kinds of disconnects for non-pay